Welcome to Module 1 of the MITRE ATT&CK course. I'm Favor, and I'll be guiding you through this course. In this module, we'll break down how attackers operate and introduce the MITRE ATT&CK Framework as a clear, structured way to study real-world adversary behavior. We'll explore how threats progress through tactics and techniques, how they gain access, move through systems, and attempt to achieve their goals. The goal is to understand how attackers think, so you can spot and defend against their techniques safely and responsibly. History, context, and the adversary-centric view. The MITRE ATT&CK Framework is designed to show how real attackers actually operate, not just what software vulnerabilities exist. Instead of focusing only on patches or weak spots, it maps out the tactics and techniques adversaries use in the real world. It started in 2013 as a research project analyzing real threat groups like APT3 and grew into the global standard for understanding attacker behavior. Learning objectives. By the end of this module, you would be able to 1. Understand the origin and purpose of the MITRE ATT&CK Framework and why its adversary-centric approach matters. 2. Break down the structure of attack, including tactics, techniques, sub-techniques, and procedures. 3. Identify the key data sources required for effective detection and threat analysis. 4. Use tools like Attack Navigator to visualize attacker behavior and map security coverage. MITRE ATT&CK structure. The attack framework is structured in a logical hierarchy designed to mirror the stages of an intrusion. This hierarchy provides the necessary granularity for accurate reporting, detection, and emulation. The framework is basically a set of layers, tactics, techniques, and procedures. Each one helps you break down an intrusion the way an attacker would see it. Let's explore them together. The structure, tactics. Think of this as the attacker's motive at each moment. Every action they take ties back to a specific goal. For example, a burglar working through a house. First, they try to get in. Then they figure out how to stay unnoticed. Maybe they look for a way to access locked rooms. They move from one area to another. And eventually, they try to leave with something valuable. That's exactly how tactics work in cybersecurity. The structure, techniques. Techniques are all about the how. They show the specific actions an attacker takes to achieve their goal. If persistence is the reason, then things like tweaking startup settings or creating scheduled tasks are the practical moves that make it happen. Each technique comes with its own identifier, so it can be tracked clearly. It specifies what was done and shows what actually happened. Sub-techniques, the what-specific implementation. Sub-techniques is a subset under technique. It describes the precise way a technique is executed. For example, the technique command and scripting interpreter, T1059, can be implemented through these sub-techniques. T1059.001, PowerShell. T1059.003, Windows Command Shell. T1059.004, Unix Shell. They show the exact method used to carry out a broader technique. The structure, procedures. Procedures. This is where real attack behavior comes in. A procedure describes how a specific threat group actually used a technique in the real world. For instance, you might see how APT3 used the Windows command shell to edit a registry key and maintain persistence. That real example is what makes the framework so practical. Data sources, the foundation for detection. The heart of attack for any security analyst is really the data sources tied to each technique. They tell you the exact logs or telemetry you need to catch that technique in action. And honestly, if you are not collecting the right data source, you simply can't detect what is happening. Types of data sources. 1. Process monitoring. This tracks when processes start, run, or stop. Example of this logs include Windows Event 4688 and Sysmon Event 1. 2. File monitoring. This watches for file creation, changes, or deletion. Examples include Sysmon Event 11 and Windows Audit Logs. 3. Network traffic. This captures communication between systems. Examples include firewall logs, DNS logs, proxy logs, and NetFlow. 4. Command line interface. This records commands and arguments used during execution. Examples include Linux history and Sysmon Event 1 with command line details. To achieve comprehensive security coverage, you must first ensure you are collecting the data sources required by the most prevalent techniques. Attack versus cyber kill chain versus diamond model. When people talk about understanding cyber attacks, the cyber kill chain, MITRE attack, and the diamond model usually come up, because each one shines a light on a different part of the puzzle. One outlines the stages of an attack, another details the behaviors and techniques used, and the last maps the relationships behind the incident. Let's look at each of them. 1. Cyber kill chain. This focuses on the stages of an attack, moving step by step from delivery to exploitation and beyond. It's great for seeing where an incident sits in the overall attack flow. The steps for cyber kill chain include reconnaissance, weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, and post-exploitation. 2. MITRE attack. This maps out the specific behaviors an attacker uses, organized into tactics and techniques. It helps you understand exactly how an attack is carried out and what to detect. It breaks an attack into clear stages like gaining access, running code, staying hidden, moving around, and causing impact. Basically, it shows the key behaviors you should watch for when detecting threats. 3. Diamond model. This explores the relationship between the adversary, their capabilities, the infrastructure they use, and the victim. It's especially useful for threat intelligence and attribution. It's also used to understand who is attacking, how they operate, and what connects all the pieces together. Relationship between cyber kill chain, attack and diamond model. A security team could use the cyber kill chain to determine the stage of an attack. They would then reference MITRE attack to identify the precise technique employed during that stage. At the same time, the diamond model can be applied to understand the attacker, their tools, the target, and the supporting infrastructure, connecting the full context of the incident. Attack components. Beyond the core matrix of tactics and techniques, attack provides 3 critical components for threat intelligence correlation. 1. Groups. Tracked adversaries identified by their behaviors, linked to specific techniques and tools. 2. Software. Tools and malware, including legitimate ones misused, that groups employ to carry out attacks. 3. Campaigns. Series of related attacks showing patterns across time, groups, or tools useful for tracking coordinated operations. Summary. In this module, we covered the basics of MITRE attack, including attacker goals, tactics, methods, techniques or sub-techniques, real-world examples, procedures, and key data sources for detection. We also saw how attack complements the cyber kill chain and diamond model, and explored groups, software, and campaigns for threat intelligence. For practical labs, make reference to the course PDF materials.